Okay, we're going to go through setting up the offsets. Here's how to set your offset up on the Stinger. And we're going to go right over here. We're going to turn the machine over. We're actually going to boot it up. Okay, we'll boot it. And you can see we had this running our nozzles at 67, beds at 43. So we're going to start that process. I'm going to go right in here, plug this in. Okay, we are plugged in. And we are back over on the screen. I'm doing this on Simplified 3D. I've never done it before on Cura, but it's very generally the same. And so we're going to go over here to the control panel setting. And just open that up, and it's already connected. It's connected by itself. See this up here, and we're going to turn on the heat. We want to make sure the heat is already on. The extruder's on. It's telling you what it is right now. Extruder's at 60, beds at 42, and we'll go over here to the temperature plot. You can see it has started climbing back up here again. And once we're really concerned about the bed. I've actually done this with the bed and the extruder off, and it's very similar. It almost didn't make a difference, but just as a rule of thumb, we want to heat the bed up. I don't know what you have on your bed for a surface or anything. Sometimes it matters which surface you have. Okay, so we're coming up with the extruder. And even if we're generally up 55 or so, we should be good. By the time we zero this, it's going to be up at 60. So I'm going to go back up to the communication tab up here, right up here. And verbose, that means it keeps feeding the information. It keeps cycling the information that it's giving you. If I turn the verbose off, it kind of freezes it right here. So you can, basically that's good if you want to scroll up and see something that was already on the screen. I wouldn't be able to do that on verbose. It would just jump right back to the bottom again here. So we'll just try that. This is with verbose on. The next command it gives it, we're back at the bottom of the screen. So that's what verbose does. We're going to go down here in the command, the little command window, and we're going to type in M. I've got my cap locks on. This all has to be done in capital letters. So M851 and then a space Z0. Okay, and let's go right over here and we're going to hit send. I don't know if it matters or not, but we're going to give it the M500 command. That saves it into EEPROM. So we're going to just save that in EEPROM. We just reset the 0 to nothing. So that clears the memory for the 0 for the offset. And we're going now to we're going to home everything. So we want to clear everything. We've got to open cache here. We're going to go up to the jog controls, and we're going to go right down to home all. We're going to just let it home. Just going to go over in the corners. Come back to the middle and it'll 0Z. Okay, it'll give us our Z base here. It's going to do one quicker and one slow. If we get too close with the camera, it makes the camera go off. So we're going to stay away just a little bit further so that we don't get interference. Okay, we're going to come down one time again, real slow. And once that's set, it comes up to 10 millimeters, the nozzle comes up 10 millimeters above the table. Okay, and now what we need to do is we are going to, home Z to 0. So G1, we're going to come right over here to the screen, up to the communication, back down here again. We're going to go G1, all caps, okay, space, Z, and 0. Okay, now we just zeroed our Z. If you look up here on top, our Z is 0. And that's important when we come down. We're going to come down we're going to look at our table. What we did was we came down to this, what the machine thinks is 0. That's where the button activated it. And we're going to come up with the jog controls until the tip is off the table. And we are able to stick our paper in there. This is our offset we're setting now. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to stick this in. And I'm going to our paper gauge setting. I'm clicking at 2/10 each time. Try to speed that up. We can always go back 1/10. Okay, now we got a little friction. A little more time. Okay, that's up. This is how I generally would set it if I was setting my table with the hand wheels. Okay, so we're going to save that, and we're going to do that by we come over here. We're going to come over here to the screen, and we're going to look at this right here. This is telling me that our Z is at 3, right here, 3 millimeters over the bed. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to save that 3 into it. That is going to be where the machine knows that it's that paper thickness above the table. So we're going to write in, I'm going to go to communication, I'm going to write in M, 851 again. Space Z, okay, and we're going to use this number right up here, 3. Now, if you're a little tight or a little loose on that paper and you want to split that to 3.2 or 2.98 or whatever you want to do, this is a good time to do that if you have enough experience with feeling it. We're just going to put in 3 for now. And we're going to send that. And this is important. As soon as you do that, you're going to give it the M500, which saves that to EEPROM. And that's it. You're there. We're going to run a quick little test. You can participate in this test. I think there's something valuable to learn from this. And we're going to check our machine out here. There's our little space. We're going to disconnect. I'm going to run it right off the controller. So we're going to disconnect this. And I've got a little print I call, I've got a torture file. I call it test coin. It's a 0.625 thick. Okay, so we're up here right now. The bed is heated up. Everything's ready to go. We're going to print my little test coin, and what we're interested in doing is measuring the brim. According to Simplified, my first layer height is set for 0.24 millimeters, and we're actually going to lay down a brim, and we're going to actually measure that. So I forgot to set my offset, so I'm going to keep this out of the way here. Okay. Now it's going to it's going to remap. It's going to go around and it's going to map again. So right now it's starting out from the center. It's getting its base, and then it'll go to the outsides and it's drawing a map in the firmware. I've had, while this is doing that, I've had this hold for about 2 months. If you don't have to change tips, I was pretty lucky. I guess all my filament came in, was good, and I didn't have to screw around with my my E3D hot end. And it held for about 2 months. I didn't have to redo this. That's pretty handy when you don't have to play around with it. To try to get it to zero. Not a real big deal if you do. Sure beats the taking the paper and turning your little hand wheels. Another thing I want to add, you want to check that X-beam from time to time if you have like a CR10S or anything that's got the dual motors. I've got the dual Z mechanically linked, as you see over here, so there's no drift on it. But you want to check that level for drift. So that's a handy little thing to know. It's going through its last couple little bits there. Okay, right now it's parking. If you look at the control box, you'll see it just programmed it to go to 205, and you'll see the extruder, the nozzle climbing. It's at 160 already, 62. And that'll go all the way up to 205 before it starts printing. Once it does, this is kind of neat. Every once in a while it'll drop a little booger of snot. I've got these little spring-loaded tongs here. These are kind of neat. You can reach underneath the nozzle and grab that little piece of extrusion that comes out of there. Very seldom does it ever get caught up in the print, but when it does, it's just kind of a pain. It doesn't really hurt anything or stop the print or anything. Something good to know. Okay, we should be coming up any second. Here we go. This is what I'm just going to watch for that little booger of extrusion. When it sat there and parked, it drooled a little bit. So, okay, it's doing the wipe. And this is good to just kind of reach in and feel the thickness of the wipe and feel the brim. Brim's looking pretty good. When you get this just right, it's nice because of the way that your parts will stick to the bed without any extra help, and you won't get the elephant foot by being too close. There's a lot of things to say about it, ABL, automatic bed leveling system, that people don't realize. They just think, oh, it's kind of, you stick all this money and screw around with it, putting the firmware in. Once you go through that, the time that you save, all of the hassle that you save over and over and over again, it's really worth it. And by learning the firmware, learning how to get into the firmware to make those little changes, you're really connecting with your machine. It's actually a really good feeling to have a little control over your machine. This is a great place to do it, setting up a bed leveling system like this, and it's not hard. It's like loading a program in your operating system on your computer. There's about a million guys with a million different ways of loading the Marlin in there, and there's a lot of tips, almost so many that it's confusing. I found a couple fellas that have just learned how, so that they don't talk above anybody when they're talking about it. They're kind of talking in your language if you're new at this. Those are the ones to kind of watch. We're going to measure two things: the overall height of this coin and the thickness of the brim. It will tell us everything we need to know. As you can see, I call this a present. In your ending G code, I do a present, which makes your Y come all the way forward so that it presents the print. Okay, we're going to take a little measurement. Got that 0. And read it in the wheat. 0.23. 0.23 on that brim. That's set just perfect. 0.21. We're a little close. 0.22. 0.19. There's a little spot where it comes in and where it goes out. It's the, you see the 0.40 here. That's where it doubled up in one spot. So if you measure it all the way around, though, you'll see its average is about 2.4 all the way around. So that's it. That's how you set that. 2.2. There's another way of doing it, and I can go over that in a later video of setting it in your EEPROM on this. But as long as you have the simplified set up, you leave it hooked up to your computer and go back to the computer. That's probably the easiest and best way to do it. We're going to just check this coin quick. All right, we're going to check that. 1.6, it's supposed to be 1.65. You see how close that is right here? 1.64. 1.63. We're just so dead on, it doesn't pay to try to readjust this. So that's it, folks. It's that easy. If you didn't catch any of my moves, you can watch the video over and over, or just write it down. Make yourself a little cheat sheet. I keep one here so that I don't miss. You miss one of those moves and it's disaster. So that's probably the easiest way to do it, is just write it down, a little cheat sheet, all of your moves, your Z and your M's, and that just about does it. And good luck with that. Okay guys, here's a photo of my cheat sheet. Just pull in on this, take a picture of it, or snap it, save it to your camera roll, and refer to it when you have to. Hope you enjoyed it.